You can go ahead and take the screen down, Meg. And Jason, when it's down, go ahead and start.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Jason Moon. I'm the Communications Director for the Michigan Department of Labor and Economic Opportunity. Today, you'll hear about the Michigan Nonprofit Association and LEO's collaboration on the Michigan Nonprofit Relief Fund. There'll be plenty of time to answer questions at the end. You'll be able to be called on, or you can put your questions in the chat. You'll hear from several speakers, and those speakers are going to include Kim Trent, the Deputy Director for Prosperity for LEO, Kelly Coon, the President and CEO of the Michigan Nonprofit Association, John Willis, the Executive Director of Isaiah's Hub, Taj Mika, the founding co-director of the Firecracker Foundation, Lionel Legrone II, the Community Impact Director for the United Way of South Central Michigan. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Kim. Thank you, Kim.
Thank you, Jason. Good morning. I'm Kim Trent. I'm Deputy Director for the Prosperity Division here at the Michigan Department of Labor and Economic Opportunity. And I'm here to talk about our this incredible opportunity that we have offered the nonprofit sector, using $50 million in state and local fiscal recovery funds to support nonprofits as they continue to recover from the COVID-19 pandemic. Because we recognize the critical importance of the work of nonprofit partners, we created two funds to support this work. $35 million to support the My Nonprofit Relief Fund, and those are one-time funds that provide financial relief and assistance to strengthen the nonprofit ecosystem that provides support to help struggling Michiganders make the ends meet. We also created a $15 million My Impact Grant Fund, which includes funds to support nonprofits to create or expand programming with the intent of lifting people out of poverty and above the ALICE threshold. Michigan's nonprofits work every day to uplift their communities and bolster the economy. I want to thank the Michigan Nonprofit Association for their partnership. We are proud to partner with MNA, which has relationships with hundreds of nonprofits and is delivering on their mission to strengthen the nonprofit ecosystem in Michigan. The My Impact Grant Program supports LEO's commitment to closing equity gaps and removing barriers to economic prosperity by lifting those in the asset-limited, income-constrained, and employed population, or ALICE, out of poverty and on a path to self-sufficiency. LEO is proud to offer this grant program to support the critical work of larger nonprofits that provide meaningful and sustained impact in the communities they serve. We received 142 applications totaling $216 million in requests for a $15 million fund. I think that demonstrates the demand for this type of funding, and it's heartening to know that so much work is happening in the community to support those within the ALICE population. We will fund between 6 and 13 programs, and those announcements will be made later this month. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Kelly Coon, the President and CEO of the Michigan Nonprofit Association. Kelly?
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. I am Kelly Coon, President and CEO of the Michigan Nonprofit Association, and it is a privilege to join you all today as we announce the remarkable nonprofit organizations that have been selected as grantees of the My Nonprofit Relief Fund. First and foremost, I want to express our gratitude to Governor Gretchen Whitmer, the Michigan Department of Labor and Economic Opportunity, and all of the dedicated individuals who have made this fund a reality. This includes the bipartisan group of Republican and Democratic state legislators, without whom today's news would not be possible. The past few years have been unprecedented. Michigan's nonprofits have faced incredible challenges, yet they have displayed incredible resilience, adaptability, and an unwavering commitment to their communities. They have been on the front lines, offering lifelines to those in need when times were toughest. Today, as we announce the grantees of the My Nonprofit Relief Fund, we also want to emphasize the crucial role nonprofits play in our state's economic recovery and safety net. Our incredible nonprofits are not just charitable organizations. They are the backbone of our communities and economic engines that drive progress and prosperity in Michigan. They create jobs, uplift communities, and provide vital services that enable our residents to thrive. They feed the hungry, house the homeless, educate our children, provide essential healthcare services, and so much more. They empower individuals and communities, offering support, resources, and hope to those who need it most. The grantees we are recognizing today are the embodiment of these values. They have demonstrated their dedication to the people of Michigan, especially those in our underserved and underrepresented communities. They have stood strong in the face of adversity, and they continue to do the essential work that makes our state a better place. I'd also like to share some important statistics about the rich diversity of our applicants. 12% of the organizations that applied are led by a person with accessibility needs. 12% of the organizations that applied are led by a person at or below ALICE thresholds. 30% of organizations that applied are BIPOC-led, including 23% of organizations that applied are led by BIPOC women. 31% of the organizations that applied have majority BIPOC staff. Why is this important? Because we believe the communities that nonprofits serve are represented by people that look like them, by people who understand their needs and cultures. And above all else, because we know that diversity in our grantees ensures inclusive support for the wide array of backgrounds and abilities that make up our state. The My Nonprofit Relief Fund, totaling $35 million, is more than just a financial assistance. It's a testament to our commitment to the nonprofit sector, recognizing the vital role it plays in our state's recovery and renewal. Together, we are 501c3s, and we are making the difference. This fund will provide much needed resources to those organizations that have been most impacted by the pandemic, allowing them to continue their critical work and expand their reach. As someone who has turned to nonprofits for support throughout my life, I'm proud to be part of today's announcement for nonprofits by nonprofits. In conclusion, I want to reiterate our gratitude to everyone who has made the My Nonprofit Relief Fund a reality. Our more than 1,300 recipients are a testament to the dedication of nonprofits and their willingness to support both one another and our communities. We are excited to announce the grantees today, and we look forward to witnessing the positive impact they will continue to have on our great state. Michigan's nonprofits are the heartbeat of our communities, and by supporting them, we are investing in the future of our state. Thank you. And now I'd like to introduce you to John Willis, Executive Director of Isaiah's Hub, one of our grantee nonprofits through the My Nonprofit Relief Fund. John?
Thank you, Kelly. I'd like to begin by thanking the Michigan Nonprofit Association and the Michigan Department of Labor and Economic Development for their intentionality with creating the Michigan Nonprofit Relief Fund for organizations such as ourselves at Isaiah's Hub. Let me tell you a little bit about what we do and how vital the funds are to our organization. Isaiah's Hub is a nonprofit organization in Jackson, Michigan, and we're focused on developing strong economical foundations in our youth. The Hub was created because our leadership team believed that creating a space for teenagers where they needed to go would provide opportunities for mentoring and development. Additionally, the Hub leadership team wanted a way to communicate God's love to teenagers without any intimidation or pressure. We noticed during the pandemic that there were a lot of mental health issues. A lot of teens, a lot of kids felt hopeless, and we wanted to make sure that we provided hope for them. Also, the result was a 52,000 square foot facility that over 36,000 square foot is used and has been transformed into a teen center that now features a basketball gymnasium with a stage for theater arts, multi-game rooms, an entrepreneurship room for crafting and making shirts, t-shirts, and what of the sort, a computer center, a music room, studio, art studio, a kitchen. We provide a safe, fun, and positive place for teenagers to develop into great people. Our Community Youth Center offers a safe and supportive environment for young people to learn important life skills, trade skills, leadership abilities, and strong moral values. There's a tech room, there's a welding room, there's a wood shop, all sorts of opportunities for the youth to learn skilled trades. Through our programs and services, we strive not only to support the growth and development, of the youth we serve, but also to contribute to the stability and the prosperity of our community as a whole. As a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, there was a growing youth mental health crisis going on through high schools and elementary schools, and they struggled during the COVID-19 pandemic. Over 1/3 of high school students in the United States reported experiencing poor mental health during the pandemic, while nearly half of the students, 44%, reported feeling persistently sad and hopeless over the years during the pandemic, reported by the Disease Control Prevention. Data showed that students reported greater levels of poor mental health, emotional abuse by parents or caregivers, and having even attempted suicide during that time. The data found that the pandemic impacted the parents' job. Most of the students who were experiencing these kind of failures, most of their parents lost jobs during this time. And it was a really hard time for the students. And after the pandemic, it showed that most students even had a hard time adjusting back into the school systems. And that's where we came in. We saw a cry for help, and we offered our after-school programs, as well as our summer programs, as well as in programs in the morning time where students can come. They can do online classes, schooling, and of the sort. And so, moving on to as we noticed a significant decrease in reading levels as well. And so we provide after-school tutoring to bring them up to grade level as well here at Isaiah's Hub. As a result of the Michigan Nonprofit Relief Fund, Isaiah's Hub has received $25,000, which will go to our operational costs and the development and continuation of the programs like our after-school programs, the tutoring, the mentoring, and developing in a safe learning environment for ages 6 all the way to 18. Here in Michigan. These dollars are truly a welcome relief for our organization to ensure we can continue to help the youth in our community following the pandemic that has such an impact on their lives. I'm proud to now introduce one of the nonprofits that help make these dollars a reality. Lionel Legron is the Community Impact Director as the United Way of South Central Michigan. Lionel, I'd like to thank you for your dedication to helping ensure this fund is for nonprofits, by nonprofits, and for recognizing the value in Isaiah's Hub and supporting the selection of our organization. Lionel, thank you.
Well, thank you. I wanted to thank Michigan Nonprofit Association and the Michigan Department of Labor and Economic Development we've heard a few times, but I can't stress enough that this fund was developed for nonprofits, by nonprofits. There is a significance in that, because what we have here is a process that has been developed not by a group of people sitting around in a room analyzing data, but actually engaging real nonprofits that do this work on a daily basis to come up with the best way to assist the other partner agencies. I think Kelly mentioned nonprofit agencies are the economic engine that drives the states, the safety net, the community building, all those services that are essential needs to people. And I just really want to extend sincere gratitude to MNA and Leo for this opportunity. The scoring the applications was really revelatory, in that I work on a day-to-day basis helping families who have been impacted by operations or by the pandemic here in Western Michigan. But I got to see how all over the state the pandemic has impacted operations. And the operations that were impacted were very significant. We've noticed that some particular pain points with some of the nonprofits were program operations suffered, fundraising suffered, staffing suffered. And for every pain point identified that was affected by the pandemic, that also translated into a lack of services. And so we were able to bridge programmatic gaps by providing this funding to the nonprofits. And I also want to thank the United Way, the NMA and Leo for actually looking at and taking in the data that had been produced by the United Way ALICE report. For those who are not familiar with the acronym ALICE, it stands for Asset Limited, Income Constrained, and Employed. We're talking about a group of people who don't quite measure below the poverty line, but are not making enough money to pay their bills on a monthly basis. And by incorporating that and those families and that whole process into the assessment process, we're actually able to look at the nonprofits and the applications with a more specific pointed lens and really able to help people a little bit better than we probably could have had we not incorporated that. So I want to congratulate everybody who participated, and particularly the winners and all of my colleagues. It was a robust set of conversations. We really learned a lot about each other and the different regional hubs and the different problems that people are facing across the state. And one of the things that we recognize is that there is really not a single problem that is unique to a jurisdiction. It's all over the state. And so we need partners all over the state to come together and help solve it. So I'm very grateful to have participated in this process. Thankful once again to the Labor and Economic Development Department and the Michigan Nonprofit Association. And I'll turn it back over to Jason for any questions.
I'm going to actually turn it over to Taj Mika for some additional comments, and then we'll take some questions. Thanks.
Good morning, everyone. It's good to see all of your bright and shiny faces this morning. My name is Taj Mika, and I am the founding co-director of the Firecracker Foundation. I'd really like to, first of all, just say thank you so much to the Michigan Nonprofit Association and to Leo. I like to tell this story about a Lifetime movie that I saw when I was a kid where a therapist was consoling a client. We work to end child sexual abuse, so it's relevant to our work. And the person seeking treatment was saying, nobody came. And the therapist said, I came as soon as I heard. And I feel like there are moments as a nonprofit where we are consistently serving the community, where we are pulling things together, we are making the things stretch, including ourselves, and no one comes. And then someone says, I came as soon as I heard. And I feel like the Michigan Nonprofit Association really put in a lot of work to make sure that that could be true. So thank you so much. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak on that. I'd also like to thank the Community Foundation and their Racial Equity Committee here in Lansing. I'm a member of that committee, and I know how hard everyone worked on that committee to spread the word, not just to myself as an organization, but a lot of people throughout our community that applied. And I think that's beautiful work that can only be more expansive as we work to lift up communities that are historically marginalized, but also are historically serving the community in ways that are not always recognized and not always fully funded. So I want to thank you for that, and thank the Community Foundation for that again. So as I mentioned, I am from the Firecracker Foundation. We are a healing community working to end child sexual abuse. We believe people heal better together, and that it takes more than cops, jails, and prisons to end child sexual abuse. We know this in our bones because we come from people, and we are people who have been harmed by abuse, oppression, and violence. The Firecracker Foundation works to shift culture through healing justice practices that restore hope, transforms the consequences of intergenerational trauma, and builds healthier futures. Just this year alone, we provided, and let me be clear, while we were like taking the coins and trying to tie them together, we provided more than $70,000 worth of high quality trauma-informed therapy services to the community for free. We started the Protect Black Teen Mothers community advocacy group after a client experienced medical abuse at a local hospital. We were invited to participate in the Michigan Sexual Violence Prevention Grant-Making Project Design Collaborative, led by MPHI and MDHHS. I was named as a Keystone Strategic Partner for Soil, a transformative justice project that will help us build TJ projects throughout our community, which is vital. And we're strengthening our commitment to disability justice through connections with a organization out in LA with a consultant. So we have not stopped building an equitable approach to our work that is inclusive of all the people who experience this type of violence. More than 90 people downloaded our Defend Trans Youth Toolkit and attended our name change training. All of this to say that we have struggled, but we have not stopped putting in the work to serve our community. We have not stopped showing up. And what has made that possible to some extent is the fact that the Michigan Nonprofit Association has invested in work that is changing our community and is changing the future. We were able to keep all of our staff fully employed through spring of 2023. And this funding has really allowed us to make sure that our wages are secure through the end of the year. And of course, we have other funding coming in. So I just really want to say thank you so much. We are going to continue to create and build. And that's the thing about being free, is that you have to be able to be free in order to create. And so when you give us the capacity that we need to feel a little bit more free, then we can be expansive in what we create to serve our community. So thank you so much for giving us that freedom and allowing us to be in connection and community with nonprofits across the state that are also putting in that work. We are deeply grateful, and we look forward to continuing to be in relationship with you all into the future. Thank you so much. Oh, and now I'm supposed to be introducing the next person. So I am proud to now introduce one of the nonprofits that help make these dollars a reality. Lionel Legrone II, I hope I said your name right, is the Community Impact Director at the United Way of South Central Michigan. Lionel, I'd like to thank you for your dedication to helping ensure this fund is for nonprofits by nonprofits, and for recognizing the value in nonprofits such as the Firecracker Foundation and Isaiah's Hub, and supporting the selection of our organizations. Thank you.
And I'll shoot it right back to Jason.
Thank you, Lionel. Great comments from our speakers. It really demonstrate the tremendous impact that this will have on their organizations and the Michiganders they serve. I encourage you, if you could, raise your hand, media members on the line, and I'll be happy to turn it over to you for your questions, or you can put your questions in the chat, but I'll get us started. Have any of the nonprofits received funds yet? Oh, you're on mute, Kelly.
Sorry. Yes, we have received several indications that the nonprofits that have been notified that they are recipients of the funds have actually received the funds as well. And that transaction is happening between them and the Department of Labor and Economic Opportunity. And we are really grateful for the team that is managing that behind the scenes and getting the dollars to nonprofits. So yes, dollars are making their way to the recipients.
Thanks for the question, Jason. Actually, we've already received thank you notes from some of the nonprofits that have received checks. So we know that they're out there, and I'm really excited. Some people have received paper checks, but the majority are receiving electronic transfers. But the process has been relatively smooth, and we want to thank our colleagues here in state government for ensuring that those dollars have been distributed and continue to be distributed.
Thank you. Another question. Are there any specific requirements that they adhere to use this money?
Kelly, you want to take that one, or?
Yes, absolutely. There are no specific requirements. These are general operating funds, and the nonprofits provided us with a better understanding of the impacts that they had during the pandemic and the application process, but these are general operating dollars.
And this is a question for Kim or Kelly, but are there nonprofits receiving funds from both the Nonprofit Relief Fund as well as the Leo Impact Grant Fund?
No, we wanted to make sure, while we're really excited to reward the innovation that we're hoping to uncover with the impact grant, it is an either or situation. You're either going to get funds from the nonprofit relief fund or from impact grant.
Now that the grants have been awarded, are there any ongoing requirements that the nonprofits need to meet?
The nonprofits, so there are not ongoing requirements outside of evaluation surveys and other things that we wanted to track. This whole process has really been, and I think Lionel talked about it being revolutionary in some ways. And so we don't want to lose sight of things that could impact future opportunities or things that could just continue to inform this level of work and partnership with nonprofits. It is a program for nonprofits by nonprofits, and we really wanted to ensure we collected some evaluation data around that, and the nonprofits that were recipients of the funds were notified that in advance. This will not come as a surprise to them. They were notified that we may have some evaluators reaching out just to get some input and feedback on things.
Great. I see no more questions, and we are near time. So I want to thank everyone for joining us today. A special thanks goes to the M&A for hosting this event and our speakers and the tremendous collaboration that we've had all along with this program that will continue on. So thank you everyone for joining us, and have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a great day, everyone.